Howdy folks, and welcome back to World of Tanks with the mighty Jingles. We're back on the patch 8.4 test server, looking at the Russian Tier 6 premium tank destroyer. This is the new boy in town, the SU-100Y. Now, why another Russian tank destroyer? We already have this thing, the SU-100Y, and it's really good. Why not, I don't know, an American premium tank destroyer? We don't have any premium American tank destroyers. Why not one of those? I mean, the British have got a premium tank destroyer, and they don't even have any tank destroyers yet. So, you know, the French even have a premium tank destroyer. Why another Russian? Well, the one possible reason for that, other than Wargaming's desire to print even more money, could be because of the number of crew that the SU-100Y has. Now, this is something that I really should mention more when I'm talking about premium vehicles, because there's still a lot of people out there who don't actually understand how it works. But well, if you have a look at my Russian tank destroyers, you'll see that the crew of the SU-100 and ISU-152 are incomplete. What's going on there, Jingles? Well, that's because they are currently crewing my SU-100Y. I have this thing has two gunners, so I have one gunner in there from the SU-100, and all the rest of the crew are from the ISU-152. Now, there we go. This crew member is not trained for the SU-100Y, however he can use his skills and perks because he is on a premium vehicle of the right type. Now, that's very important. What this means is, if you buy a premium vehicle, you never have to buy a crew for them, because you can always use, for example, this is a premium Russian tank destroyer, which means I can put any Russian tank destroyer crew in it without having to do this. Go to training, train on current vehicle, and pay to train that crew member and qualify him on that premium tank destroyer. You don't have to do that. You can just take the crew straight off an existing tank destroyer, stick them in this thing, and roll it out into battle, and it works just fine. It doesn't work the other way. You can't take a premium tank destroyer crew and stick them in something else and expect them to perform. You will have to train them. But taking a crew from an existing vehicle of the same nationality and type and putting them into a premium tank destroyer, for example, or if you were to do it with your heavy tanks, that would also work with the KV-5 and the Churchill 3. I could take the IS crew and stick them in the Churchill 3 and roll the Churchill 3 out into battle, and that would work. That's one of the benefits of having premium vehicles. You're thinking to yourself, well, you know, great, but I don't actually see the benefit. Well, here's how it works. Let's say I've just bought myself an Object 704, and I want to get this crew trained up. All right, and I already have an SU-100Y. Well, I can take the Object 704 crew, leave them in the Object 704, take it out and fight until I get my daily double, and then I get that double XP for the first win of the day. That means double crew XP as well. Then I take the crew out of that and I put them in the SU-100Y, and I play that until I get the daily double. So I'm getting double crew XP twice for that Object 704 crew, and then I put them back in the Object 704. But here's the problem: the Object 704 has 5 crew. The SU-100Y only has 4 seats, so I can't train that entire crew twice every day. Well, you can do that and more with the SU-100Y, because it has 6 crew slots, so I can put the entire crew of the 704 into this thing, and then, you know, a spare crew member from something else. In this case, I've got the ISU-152 crew in there, and the SU-100's gunner. And off you go, and I can do that 3 times a day. You know, for multiple different tank crews. SU-100Y has the spare seats in order to be able to train a full tank crew of the higher tier vehicles, and that's one of the main reasons why a lot of people get these premium vehicles. It's for crew training and for getting that daily double multiple times each day. And now you can get that daily double 3 times a day with Russian tank destroyer crews, because now they've got 2 different premium tank destroyers. Excuse me. So, all that aside, is the thing actually any good? Well, yeah, it's not bad. It's kind of like a little Tier 6 ISU-152 with a BL-10 gun, because that is a 130mm cannon on a Tier 6 vehicle. So let's have a look at the stats. First of all, this thing, by the way, is going to cost you 3,250 gold, and that's about the price of a month and a half's worth of premium account. So it's a fairly substantial investment for a virtual tank. And what you get for that investment is a tank destroyer with the most health by far of any of the tier 6 tank destroyers, Russian or not. 700 hit points is a lot. But it's going to need those 700 hit points, and it's going to need it for two reasons. The armour is utter garbage. It's 60 millimeters, front, side, rear, all over the place. Nothing on that thing is thicker than 60 millimeters, other than the gun mount, obviously. But the hull and the turret, if you like, the casement, 60 millimeters is the best you're going to have. Despite the fact that this thing is actually based on the chassis of the T-100 heavy tank, with a 130 millimeter gun in a fixed casement. I don't know how much armour the T-100 heavy tank had, but if it was 60 millimeters all round, I'm not surprised it never entered production. This thing, they only ever built one prototype of it, and that was it. It never actually saw combat. The other reason why this thing is going to need that 700 hit points is because it is the size of a house. And you can't really, there's no perspective in here. You can't actually see how big that thing is. So just to give you an idea, we're going to compare it to the 100-ton Tier 8 premium heavy tank, the KV-5. And that thing is the same size as a KV-5. It is an absolutely huge target. There aren't many bushes in the game that are big enough for you to be able to hide this thing behind. It is absolutely massive. So it's going to need that 700 hit points, because you're going to be getting shot a lot in this thing unless you play it very, very, very cautiously indeed. Speed, however, is not actually that bad, despite the fact that it is big, and it does weigh a lot. It's 64.7 tons with what I have set up on it, but it can go up to 67.4. It does have an 890 horsepower engine, which provides a fair bit of grunt and means that it can do 35 kilometers per hour, and it will reach 35 kilometers per hour. It's not one of those machines that never reaches its listed speed unless it's going downhill with a tailwind. And it's quite manoeuvrable at 30 degrees traverse speed. That's very, very good for a tank destroyer. I mean, there are tank destroyers that have better traverse speed than that, but that's not bad, especially considering the size of the thing. View range for such a tall vehicle, unsurprisingly, it has a pretty decent view range for Tier 6, 350 metres. Its signal range, however, is garbage. That's going to be a problem on maps like El Halouf. 440 metre signal range. If you're on one side of the valley shooting across the other side of the valley, you are just not going to see those targets, because you will be out of radio range of the tanks that have contact with them. So that's going to be a problem on the larger maps. So bear that in mind. But the gun. This thing is all about the gun. All tank destroyers are really about the gun, but this thing is purely and simply, what you're looking at here is a device for transporting that gun around the battlefield, because that gun is amazing. This is a 130mm gun on a Tier 6 vehicle. I think the only other 130mm gun in the game is on the IS-7 Tier 10 heavy tank. And, well, you know what? Let's just have a look at the gun on the IS-7, because bear in mind this is a Tier 10 heavy, right? With this 130mm gun, and they're not that different. I mean, they are different, obviously, but just compare them for the sake of a laugh, right? This thing, let's get it back up. This SU-100Y has a slower rate of fire than the IS-7. But not by that much, 3.75 and 4.38. It has less penetration by a substantial amount, 196 versus 260, but, you know, it's Tier 6. It almost does the same damage. Oh, this is absurd. 440, that's what makes this gun. That's what makes this thing the little Tier 6 BL-10. 440 damage, right? Everybody complains about the KV-1S being overpowered at Tier 6 with its 122mm gun that can do 390 average damage. This thing does 50 average damage more. It's the same tier. It's only doing 50 average damage less than the IS-7, and that's a Tier 10. And it's more accurate. And it aims faster. Oh, hang on, I'm going to need a minute here. That's a bloody Tier 10 heavy tank gun. This is a tier. Oh no, this is too funny. Yeah. So you have what you have here is a Tier 6 premium tank destroyer. Oh God, sorry folks, you're gonna have to give me a minute here. I'm laughing my ass off. You've got a Tier 6 premium tank destroyer that has a gun that actually compares quite favourably versus a Tier 10 heavy tanks gun in every category other than penetration. And the penetration is still off the scale for a Tier 6, 196mm. This gun is phenomenal. It's got no business being on a Tier 6 vehicle. Oh, I've been disconnected from the server. Well, anyway, screw it. While we're here, that's pretty much just covered the basics of the tank. I mean, that gun is just ridiculous. This makes this thing a Tier 6 ISU-152. It's like driving the ISU-152 with a BL-10 gun. That's just what this thing is like at Tier 6. So, now that we've been disconnected from the server, let's have a look at a couple of replays that I have saved for this little thing. So, this is the first game I played in the SU-100Y, and as you can see, this is the remodelled steps map, and I have to admit, I didn't have a clue where I was, what I was doing. The whole map just looks so different. I mean, it's got the obvious features that, when you think about it, are in more or less the same place that they always used to be, but well, look at that. I quite literally had to stop, look at the ground, look at the map, look at the ground again, try and figure out where I was in relation to what I could see on the map, and thought, is that... oh God, oh, this is weird. I like what they've done with it though. I mean, that was a pile of rocks that were just a pile of rocks before. You can get up there now. And you've got the same corner over here with a bush, but it's just so different. So I really like what they've done with the map. I have to say that much. So the first game I played in the SU-100Y, and there's that VK201's cupola is sticking out over the top, so I'm not going to waste time on that shot. But this one, oh yeah, oh, and he's turned around, and there you go, my first kill. There's a Yak Panther. If somebody could put a shot into him while I'm reloading, that would be fantastic. Oh, thank you. 440 average damage, 349 health. Yes, please. Oh, there's another SU-100Y. And I don't think he's seen me. My sixth sense hasn't gone off yet, so... And me and this other SU-100Y would do a great little double team act. Between us, we were just two-shotting everything in front of us. And, oh yeah, just check out this carnage down in the corner there. Ah, I've been spotted. Oh crap, it's an AT-15A. And trying to find somewhere I can penetrate. Shot goes wide. No, let's not hang around. Those things have got the rate of fire to really give me a bad day. And I only have 60mm of armour. There's an AT-2 up there, but no, he didn't have line of sight on me. And we are absolutely kicking this team's arse. Winning 8-1. And there's that AT-15, and he's on fire. And I cannot find a weak spot, and now... ooh, no. Friendly tanks all over it. If I fired, I guarantee you I would miss. Hit a friendly. Bad news. So let's move on. And as you can see, this thing isn't that slow. 35 kilometers per hour. It's just this big block of moving metal. And this is pretty much game over for me. I never really catch up to the fight from here on in, but just have a look at the map. Look at that. There's the old heavy tank death trap that we all know and love. AMX 12T trying to make a run for it, but he's got like 9 tanks chasing after him. He's never going to make it out of there. And there's only 2 of them left, and we've only lost 3 tanks. I don't know why I can't ever get games like this on the live server. Played on the live server today, I won 1 game the entire day. And I just gave up. However, there you go. 0.38 accuracy is it's good if you're used to the Russians, but it's not good if you're used to anybody else. And I thought I might actually be able to reload in time to get this guy. Oh, I missed my second shot as well. You know the rules. Jingles is not allowed to kill artillery. And that's pretty much it. Only one of them left, and he's right over by the cap, and I ain't ever going to get there in time, but just have a look at the map, the way it's been remodelled, retextured. Subtle little changes, and if you didn't know you were on steps from that starting position, it looked like a completely different map. I'm very impressed with what they've done with it. And that target P is about to die. Oh, but not before he kills that AMX-12T. So there you go. Not a fantastic game by any stretch of the imagination, but it was the first time I'd driven the tank. Got 2 kills, but I did all of my damage at the beginning of the game. The second half of it, such as it didn't last that long. It was pretty much just me playing catch-up with everybody else. So that's not a very good example, although it was a nice little view of how the steps map has been remodelled for patch 8.4. So let's have another game and show you just what this little beast can do. So here's a game I played on Prokhorovka, and you've got the usual retards dribbling all over each other in chat at the beginning, but that's not important. It's a tier 7 game, and pay particular attention to that AT7 on the enemy team, because I think that when these things come out, your biggest problem are going to be the British tank destroyers, because while this gun does have 196mm of penetration, they've all got 203mm of armour at the front, and they're very squat, low-profile targets, and your accuracy isn't that good. So, and in fact, in this game, it is that AT7 that gives me all kinds of problems. On the other hand, it's probably fair to say that I give the AT7 all kinds of problems as well, so, you know, it's fair's fair. And, oh, this guy didn't waste any time. T21 behind him, don't have much of a shot at the T21. Now, a T50-2 has 560 health fully upgraded, and this gun does 440 average damage. Well, I just hit him for 550 damage on a tier 6 tank destroyer. That is epic. Oh, I love this machine. And I'm sitting around waiting, and luckily he did spot me, but no artillery, so I'm not in any rush. Oh, hang on, there's a Panther M10 over there. Okay, come on, aim and execute. 2 kills. Actually, no, 1 kill. I may as well have done 2 kills. T50-2 only has 560 health, and I did 550 damage to him, but I've been spotted again, so I ain't going forward. And of course, premium tank, you can put any crew, any other Russian tank destroyer crew you like in it. So my SU-152 crew, commander has 6th sense. Why not use it? You never need to buy a crew for a premium vehicle. Now, there's only us tank destroyers on this side of the road, and of course we've got a heavy hiding behind us and a medium who hasn't even left the cap circle yet. And, you know, here comes a Jagdpanther with the Death Wish. Unfortunately, I have to move and start re-aiming, but there you go, there's my second kill. He only had 445 health left. Now, I'm not keen on pushing forward here because, well, for a number of reasons. 1, I'm a massive target. 2, I don't have any armour, but I'm good enough to bounce shots from that VK2801. And 3, I keep getting spotted. I want to wait until I'm off their radar before I make any moves. Now that VK2801 was actually, he threw it away. He was in a fantastic position. Oh, side shot on an SU-100. Come on. Oh, crap, somebody else fired just before me. But yeah, that VK2801 was in a fantastic spot in the bushes up there. And if he'd just not fired, he would have been spotting us for all of these guys. That shot did actually hit, I believe. We'll find out later, but I'm pretty sure I did hit that SU-100Y. Obviously he disappeared before I could get the shot off. But that spot in the bushes up there where that VK-281 is a fantastic scouting position. It just lights up everybody coming down this road. As long as you don't fire. Oh no, I missed him. Unless there's another one of them down there. No, he's the only one left. Now there, AT7. Well, Black Prince first of all. And this is showing green. And I penetrate, but didn't do any damage. And I've been spotted. And I'm going to take some return fire here. And it's the Black Prince that shoots me up at first. I believe I'm too low down in the ground for that NFI, and a bounce again off the front of this Black Prince. So 196mm of penetration. Black Princes are going to give you trouble. And you know, this is weird. It's the SU-152 that killed him, probably with HE. But the SU-122-44 was putting holes in his front, and his penetration isn't as good as mine. So, you know, you get those random rolls. Now, I haven't actually taken any hits yet. But I know there's an AT7 down there. Tier 7 British tank destroyer, and I'm in no rush to be the first one that this guy sees. These fellows in front of me are all lower profile than I am. And there's that bloody SU-100Y, but there's not much of him sticking out. And he's going to get to fire. And I'm not wasting the shot on that. But there we go. Fire. And I don't know, I think it went to the left. And I'll take a hit. And it was a bloody big hit. And then I bounced a shot. What the hell? And I bounced another shot. What the hell? Well, I have it on reliable authority that the only thing down there that can hit me is this fella, the AT7. Now I'm pretty sure... there's a bounce. I'm pretty sure that guy's gun has more than 60mm of penetration, and I have no idea, none whatsoever, why he didn't penetrate me with those two shots. He's good enough to kill the SU-152 in front of me, who actually has better frontal armour. But I'm confident I'm no longer being spotted. So I'll move up only as far as I can to take cover behind the wrecks of these dead guys in front of me. But I'm a big old target. I do not want to be the one scouting out this AT7. He's on 4 kills, he knows what he's doing. And I only have 459 health left, so there's 2 or 3 shots from this guy, and his 20-pounder gun fires very, very quickly. He'll get 3 shots off easily in the space of my 1. And I'm not even guaranteed to penetrate him. 203mm of armour at the front. I put 2 shots into him already and they both bounced. Luckily, this T50-2 was an absolute hero. Watch him turn his side. That's what we want to see. Leave him on 30 health. Tiger finishes him off. Fantastic distraction job there from the T50-2 driver. Great little Russian scout player. Demchenko there did exactly the right thing. So I type in my congratulations on a job well done there to him. And they only have one thing left, and it's an IS. And there's a very slim chance I'll get over there in time to do something about it, but he's got a KV-1 and a KV-3 facing him. Oh, he puts one into the KV-3. North American player there, supermassive Corsair. But the odds are stacked against him. And even if he kills that KV-3, he's not going to survive the encounter. The second I come up here on the flank, but nah. KV-1 finishes him off. So well played to the KV-1 driver as well. Now, that didn't feel like a good game. I mean, it was a good game. It was alright. 2 kills, did a bunch of damage. But it certainly wasn't spectacular. A number of bounces, a number of misses. And you're probably going to be as surprised as I was to see the post-battle results screen of this one.
Now, unfortunately, the test server being the test server and having problems with NVIDIA graphics drivers, the game actually managed to crash when I was recording the post-battle results screen. So all I could do was salvage some screenshots from it to basically show you what sort of game that was. And I was very, very surprised when I saw this post-battle results screen, because it didn't feel like that Prokhorovka game was anything special. And it wasn't. It was a decent match, but there was nothing spectacular about it. And yet I came away from that with 1400 undoubled experience. And that took me by surprise. I was, what? That wasn't that good a game. How the hell did I manage to get? I mean, the 60,000 credits, yeah, it's a premium, tier 6 premium. They do earn more credits, but you know, not as much as a tier 8 premium. If that had been a tier 8 game, I could have walked away with 80 to 90,000 credits from that, with that kind of XP. But 1400 undoubled experience from what the hell's going on? So here's the thing about this machine, and it's all down to that gun. And there you go. Looking at the personal results, that is why we got so much XP out of that game. 11 shots fired, only 9 of which hit the target. Of the 9 that hit, only 6 penetrated. But this gun does so much damage. Of the 6 penetrating hits is all you need to do 2,207 damage. And if you can just play this thing, you don't have to stay alive that long. Just stay alive long enough to get 5 or 6 hits into whatever you're shooting at, and this thing's paid for itself. It absolutely does not matter whether you win or lose after that point. It'll you know, winning or losing will obviously affect the amount of XP you get, but the money you earn is based directly off the damage that you've done. 5 or 6 shots, this thing is going to pay for itself in a couple of games. It's impossible, unless you die without doing any damage whatsoever. It's next to impossible to lose money driving this thing. It just does so much damage. So there you go. The SU-100Y Russian premium tier 6 tank destroyer. This thing is going to be the new daddy in tier 6 company battles. I would not be at all surprised to see tier 6 company battles completely dominated by these things and very, very nervous KV-1Ss in the future. It is just ridiculous. That gun is absolutely phenomenal. Is it balanced? Well, it's got garbage for armor, but it does have a lot of health. It's reasonably mobile, but it's going to be next to impossible to hide the thing. Balanced? I don't know. I would maybe say yes, because it's not hard to kill them. But and you're going to need to kill these things, because if you spot one of these things on the battlefield and you let it live, you're going to be in a world of trouble. That gun is absolutely ridiculous for a tier 6 tank. It is just off the charts. I mean, as you can see there, 6 penetrating, damaging hits is all you need to walk away with 1400 XP and 60,000 credits after having done over 2,000 damage to the enemy team. So I can see these things selling like hotcakes. I wouldn't be at all surprised if everybody and their dog's tennis partner ended up buying one of these things when patch 8.4 goes live. As always, folks, take care on that battlefield, and I'll catch you next time.